The A's lost 12-11 in extras to the Cleveland Guardians, but call me crazy. I think that the positives outweigh the negatives in this game. We're going to get into it today on Locked On A's. How's it going, A's fans? And welcome to episode 552 of the Locked On A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, noted baseball fan Jason Burke, and on today's show, we're talking about the A's loss to the Cleveland Guardians. I've got some positive takeaways from this one, and then we're also going to talk about Ryan Noda getting his first hit and what I'm seeing from him in his early action. And then finally, we're going to compare the A's record to some other teams' records and hopefully feel a little bit better about the A's season so far, even though they're just 1-3. So that's what we got coming up for you guys on today's episode. But before we get into anything, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On MLB for $20 off of your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Also, make sure to check out the podcast wherever you like to hear podcasts, because we are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube. Thank you to everybody who has gotten us past the 1,000 subscriber mark. That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. That thing climbed real fast as opening day approached, and I appreciate everybody for subscribing. Make sure your alerts are on, so whenever we post an episode, it's probably going to be in the mornings these days. You know when it happens, because sometimes, with a child, it's a sporadic schedule, so know when they go up by setting the alerts. Also, make sure to follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm by Jason B on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis coming your way whenever A's news happens. It's at Inside the A's. That is at Inside the A's on Twitter and on Facebook. Also, the URL is si.com/MLB/athletics. But let's talk about this game a little bit. The A's lost 12-11 in extra innings. They had a nice little lead. They had a nice little second inning. I liked it. To begin, the last part of the game wasn't as much fun. Let's start with the bad in this one, and I think that it started with the Tony Kemp fielding error. It could have been a double play. It ended up not being a double play. It led to 2 unearned runs. So there you go. That's 2 free runs right there. Mark Kotsay said that the A's gave up 5 free runs in this game, and that is not something that they can be doing. Mark Kotsay said that his frustration level was at a 10 after last night's game because there was some shots in the foot that the A's made for themselves. It wasn't great. There was also some bad luck on the ball by Connor Capel. It was hit to right field. He was playing right field for the first time all season, and the ball. It was originally scored an error, but then, upon replay, and I think that I saw it live, I was like, oh, that ball just scooted on him. It scooted over to his right. It took a weird hop. I don't know how or why, but it took a weird hop. I assume it was the baseball gods that did not want the A's winning this game, because how else can you explain some of this stuff? And so it was later changed to a triple, because that was a weird hop, and the ball rolled all the way to the wall. The runner scored from first. It should have been first and second with however many out at that point. But instead, it was runs scored triple. And so that was a big moment in the game right there. And then there was a wild pitch by Trevor May in the 10th. The A's were already down 11-10 at that point after tying the game late. We'll talk about that in the good part. But Trevor May, there was a wild pitch, got away, and it gave the Guardians that second run, the all-important second run in extra innings, because he already got the ghost runner or zombie runner on second base. That guy's important. You need to make sure that guy scores, but also getting a second run, especially on the road, as they said, the announce team said during the game. That second run, that's a big run. So that second run allowed to score on a wild pitch. There was a lot of fundamental mistakes. Mark Kotsay, not very happy after the game. But that all said, there was a lot of good that happened in this game. And I want to start off with, it was a lot closer than the last two. They were outscored 19-1 in the previous two. That one was a Ramon Laureano home run. And he also hit a home run in this game. So good for him. But yeah, this game was closer. It was more fun to watch, I'll say. That was good. Cap went 5 innings, gave up 5 runs, I believe. He looked okay. He has a 9 ERA. The A's have a high ERA. I'm not going to get into it, but it's high. really high. It's a small sample size, so hopefully we get some shutouts coming soon. But one of my other big takeaways is they fought back in this game. They had the lead, and then the air was let out of the balloon late. But they fought back. Seth Brown hit a 2-run home run off of one of the best closers in baseball, Emmanuel Clase. And Clase gave up just 3 home runs all of last season. Seth Brown has one of those right now. He also held the A's scoreless over 3 innings pitched last season. And he didn't do it in his first outing of 2023. So that's something, I think. He was utterly dominant last year. The A's made him look mortal this year. And I think that's kind of something that the A's may be able to take advantage of is guys being like, yeah, we're playing the A's. We don't have to try our hardest. But sometimes you do. They ended up trying their hardest later. But the A's probably should have won this game. I'm not mad that they didn't, is where I'm at. It's still very early in the season. We're not expecting them to win much. We want to see progress, and I felt like we saw a lot of progress in this game, especially from the last 2 games where they were just utterly dominated by the Los Angeles Angels there. The rally in the second, this is another bright spot for me. The rally in the second was started by the young guys. It started with Ryan Noda getting his first start over at first base, getting a single, his first hit in the big leagues. That's cool. We're going to celebrate that in the second segment. But he got his first big league hit, and then Shea Langeliers also singled. And then Esteury Ruiz had an RBI double. The young guys, the guys that we want to see stuff from, started that rally in the second. They scored, 5 runs in that inning? It was the young guys that did it. And then the vets came in and, Jace Peterson hit a 3-run homer. So that's how, but it started with the young guys at the bottom of the order. And mostly when I see the lineup be released every day, I want to see who's being grouped together. And I want to see which young guys are being grouped together. And Langeliers and Ruiz, that could be a solid pair, I think. I joked with, I mentioned this yesterday, I joked with Shea Langeliers when I'm like, hey, you know that you led the team in sprint speed last year, right? He's like, yeah, I saw that somewhere. And I think that, putting those 2 guys together, the fastest guys on the team at the bottom of the order, they might be able to wreak some havoc. I like that. Then the rally in the 9th, I tweeted this out as well. A lot of people were tweeting out like, the A's are facing Class A. This one's over. Boom, boom, boom. And for some reason, that made me believe more that the A's were going to, do okay in the 9th. And they did. And I tweeted out something to the effect of, the thing that I would be optimistic about in this situation is that it's the veterans of this lineup that are due up next. Tony Kemp got on base, and then he was erased on a double play. And then there was a runner on for Seth Brown. He had a 2-run homer to dead center field. It was a reactionary swing on a 97.4, I believe, mile per hour cutter. And he did his job. He did great. First home run of the season. Good job, Seth. The A's are 1-3, and so that's not great. But they're not in last place, thanks to the Seattle Mariners. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in the third segment today. But those are some of my positive takeaways. We saw the young guys do their stuff early. We saw the vets do their stuff late. This lineup's still coming together, and they put up some runs. Hopefully that continues against, I almost said Justin Bieber, and I was like, no, it's Shane. And I was like, no, it's just against Bieber today. I'm going to be at this game. Hopefully the A's offense continues to do well, because I would like to see some more runs being scored. But coming up, we're going to be talking about Ryan Noda getting his first hit and what I'm seeing from him early on this season. So stay locked in, you guys. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful, and let me tell you, I have missed events because it is entirely too stressful. I have looked at prices and been like, no thank you, that doesn't sound like fun, or I didn't get there soon enough, and that is why Game Time is the way to go, because it is fast and easy, and it's the way that you can buy tickets for all of your sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. It's a great time, I gotta say. And with killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun that you'll have. Who doesn't love just having hey, I'm not doing anything today. The A's are on the road. Let's go on Game Time. see what kind of a deal I can get last minute. Who's playing soon? Let's go find out. And then, hey, I've heard of that band. Let's go. Let's go have a cocktail or two and go watch some live music. Why not? Because Game Time is the place for last minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. And more. I had to read that so fast because there's too many options. You can get tickets for everything. It's amazing. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. That's a good guarantee, I gotta say. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use the redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe wherever you'd like to hear podcasts. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I'm a Jason B on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis coming your way whenever A's news happens. It's at Inside the A's or si.com/MLB/athletics. Also, thank you everybody for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms, including on YouTube. Keep that sub count rising. Why not? Screw it. We're at 1,000. Why not go for more, I guess. Remember, 10,000, new background. So get us up to 10,000. You could see something other than these blinds. That incentive. Also, make sure to comment down below and give us a thumbs up and set the alerts. That's just a fun way to interact with more A's fans and help the podcast grow. So thank you to everybody who has been doing all of that. It's very much appreciated. We're having lots of fun. Even though the A's are 1-3, still having lots of fun because it is very early in the season, everybody. Let's calm down. We're expecting them to be a little bit worse than 500. That was a bold prediction of mine. 75 wins. I think they can still do it. They've got a few games to do it. One series against, like, the Royals, and they're back in contention. It's not that bad, you guys. But let's talk a little bit about Ryan Noda. He has had 7 at-bats so far. He is 2 for 7. That's a 286 batting average. He also has not walked at all, so he has a 286 on base. And he has 4 strikeouts. The 4 strikeouts could be worrisome, but he's also really just starting to adjust at the big league level. So give him some time. We'll see how he does in like the second half of the month, given he's still getting at bats fairly regularly, because you need to give a guy like Ryan Noda regular at bats to give him time to adjust and make those adjustments and just go like learn on the job a little bit, because Ryan Noda has the skill set. I've said it before. He has the skill set. I want to see what he can do at the big league level, because he could be the A's first baseman for a while. He's solid. He's also a very nice guy. I really like Ryan Noda, but in the 10th inning last night, this is something that I had seen in I think his first at-bats on Saturday. I saw him do some of this. It wasn't as good of an at-bat, but it was a good at-bat. But in the 10th inning last night on Monday, he got down 1-2 in the count early, and then he called time. He seems to like using his times, his batter timeouts, which is good. That shows poise. That shows that the moment is not too big for him, that he's trying to, he's playing the game a little bit. He's also been in the minors. He's familiar with how these things work. And so maybe that's why we're not as used to it, is because a lot of these guys are just like, yeah, I'm just going to step in the box. I'm ready. Seth Brown was not ready. He got called out on a pitch clock violation last night. So Ryan Noda just called timeout. And he settled himself, and then he had a 9-pitch at bat with the reliever. I think it was Eli Morgan at that point in the 10th, and okay, fine. He grounded out to first. He grounded out to the right side. It did move the runner over, so it was a productive out. He moved Ramon Laureano over to third base. Productive out. He also had a 9-pitch at bat, and I thought that was good. There's a lot of hot takes on social media last night. Like, I told you this team would lose X amount of games. They've lost 3 so far. Nothing's guaranteed. And also, it's going to be a long season, which it will be to a degree. All baseball seasons are long. And that one, maybe. I'm not as mad about it's going to be a long season one because it might be. Because the A's might be not long for Oakland, and that would make the season not as much fun at all. But again, one of my bold predictions, they're going to have something done with the city of Oakland by the end of the year. And so, hey, we got to see what happens in May and June. But yeah, lots of hot takes on social media. Hot take artists saying, yeah, they're going to lose like so many hundreds of games. More games than there are in the season, even though they have a win. And it's ridiculous because we're waiting for guys like Ryan Noda to kind of adjust a little bit more at the big league level. That's what we're waiting on. They're not going to be playing like this. They're not going to have, they're not going to give up 5 runs a game. That's not typical. They played the Cleveland Guardians very well. The Guardians probably should have been in the AL Championship Series last year. The Yankees did some magic. But they were a really good team last season. They have some aspirations this season. They're not like a pushover. They're not the Cincinnati Reds or the Miami Marlins. They're a like potentially World Series contending team if things kind of break right for them a little bit. They've got arms. They've got bats now. They're an interesting group of guys, and the A's played them tough. They should have won the game. Yes. Am I disappointed that they didn't? No. It's early. Right now we are waiting for guys like Ryan Noda, like Ruiz, like Langoliers, like Nick Allen. We're waiting for those guys to kind of catch up to the big leaguers that we have on the roster, because we have big leaguers on the roster this year. That's a plus. They're going to be more fun to watch this year, you guys. And Cleveland also just took 3 out of 4 from the Seattle Mariners, and the Seattle Mariners are supposed to be a good team. Maybe not quite taking over the AL West just yet, but they should be able to give Houston, a nemesis, a run for their money. And this Cleveland team on the road just took 3 out of 4 from them in Seattle. So they're not a pushover squad. They are a good team. Good teams find a way to win these games. That's just how it works. And the A's, we're still looking for those pieces. We're waiting for them to develop into the guys that we would like to see, but they're not there yet. So it's still early. We got to give this a month-by-month process, just like we did last year. That is what we're waiting on. We're waiting for those jumps to happen. And that it takes time. It takes time. We got to be patient, but enjoy the ride as well. And the A's played this team tough, even with sloppy mistakes. And I think that I don't know that it bodes well for the A's that they played sloppy, but it shows the kind of character that this team has. And those are the things that you're looking for early in the season. What kind of a character, what kind of fight does a team have? The A's have fight. They showed it on Monday night. Sure, they lost 12-11 in 10 innings. That stinks. You hate to lose games. Yeah. The A's are going to lose some games this year. Even the best teams lose like 70 games a year. It happens. You don't want to like accumulate them all at once, obviously, but it happens. Teams go through streaks. The Houston Astros are 2-3 to begin the season. Are they bad? They haven't won the World Series yet. Are they a bad team? Are the Seattle Mariners a bad team? They're 1-4. They're in last place in the AL West after 5 games. It's early. Let's calm down a little bit, you guys. We're still going to have fun. Remember 5 days ago when it was opening day when we were all super excited and then the A's won? That was amazing. Let's get some of that energy back. It's baseball season, you guys. We can't just give up on April 4th. That's ridiculous. Let's watch some of these guys develop and let's cheer them on, because why the hell not? That's my stance right there. Coming up, we're going to talk about just some other teams that, are they good? Are they bad? And hopefully feel a little bit better about the A's situation coming up. Locked on A's. Today's episode is brought to you by one of the most addicting games that I have played in a long time, because I always thought that I'd be good at being a Major League Baseball GM, and as it turns out, it's not that easy, you guys. If you've ever had the same thought and fantasized about managing your own franchise, go download Pro Baseball GM immediately, because you got to hire the right coaches and staff. You got to manage team finances. That's the tricky part, is that the finances. It's rough. make sure that you use the promo code that we're going to give you here, because you got to scout and draft players. You got to manage through difficult personalities and injuries. You got to navigate your franchise through free agency and all of the ups and downs of a season. All of this is just, it's challenging and it's realistic. It's a really, really fun game, you guys. And Ultimate Baseball GM is completely free and playable offline, so you can play on the go and as you want, when you want to. It's a pretty good time. I believe that I'm going to get second place in our Locked On competition because Jeff Ellis, he had a good season. He had a good career, I guess. I think he finished with like a 520 winning percentage, and I was like at 480. So I was below 500, much like the A's right now. But I had a lot of fun playing it, and that's kind of the base. That's the genesis for Locked On A's right now. Let's just have fun watching this team. But anyways, Locked On A's listeners can get 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo Locked On in the game store. That is all caps Locked On. So make sure to check it out. To download the game, just visit probaseballgm.com, scan the code, or look it up in the app stores. That's probaseballgm.com. Ultimate Baseball GM. Start your dynasty today. Welcome back to the Locked On A's podcast. If you guys are enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe wherever you like to hear podcasts. Follow us on social media at Locked On A's on Twitter and Instagram. I am by Jason B on Twitter. Check out Inside the A's for more A's news, insight, and analysis coming your way whenever A's news happens. It's at Inside the A's. Also, thank you so much for making the Locked On A's your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms. So pick your favorite and then go find us. Wherever you are now, that one. Subscribe there. It's just easier that way, I would imagine. But let's talk a little bit about the A's in general. I had this written down for the last segment. I glossed over it. But the A's schedule has been tough to start this season. And I know that the Angels maybe they're good, maybe they're bad. But they've also faced Shohei Ohtani. They won that game. He was a Cy Young candidate always, and also an MVP. He's the best player in baseball, you guys. They beat that guy. So that was something. And then they faced Patrick Sandoval, who has a 184 career ERA against the A's. They got blown out in that game. It wasn't necessarily his fault that they got blown out, but he held them down pretty good. And Patrick Sandoval is one of the A's nemesis. I don't know if people realize that. He's a nemesis. Nemesis? He's a nemesis, yeah. He's not a nemesis. There you go. Anyways, Tyler Anderson making his team debut for the Angels. He pitched really well as well. The A's were shut out in that game, obviously, so he pitched fine. He had a 2.57 ERA last season with the Dodgers, I believe, so he was really, really good. And then Zach Plesac, he was fine last year, I guess. He was roughly league average, but the Cleveland Guardians have arms. That's the thing. The Guardians just have arms on arms on arms, and that is who the A's have started off their season with. So we're like, let's have a bunch of hot takes. These guys are good pitchers. Let's not gloss over that fact. And they got another good pitcher going tonight in Shane Justin Bieber. I just threw both names in there just so that I don't mess it up. So we're hoping for better tonight. It might not happen. It might happen on Wednesday because I've never heard of the guy that's pitching for the Guardians. He's 24. He might be good. I also have not been paying attention to much other baseball lately, just the A's. So we're gonna look him up. We're gonna talk about him tomorrow maybe, and get you excited about him. But by comparison, the Reds are a 3-1 baseball team right now. Right now, they have started off against the Pirates and the Cubs for one game. So that is who they have been playing. The pitchers that they have faced. Mitch Keller, 5.04 career ERA. They faced a 90-year-old Rich Hill. They faced Vince Velasquez, who got his own player intro package on social media when they signed him, and people made fun of the Pirates for that because he is Vince Velasquez, and he has a 4.94 career ERA. That is another. And then against the Cubs, they faced Drew Smyly, who's been okay over his career. He's been fine. He's also 33, 34, somewhere in there. So they're not facing the same caliber pitchers that the A's have been facing, but they're 3-1. So are they a good team now? Are the Reds a good team, or did they just get off to a good start? Are the Mariners a bad team because they got off to a 1-4 start? Are the A's an atrocious team? Are they the worst team we've ever seen because they're off to a 1-3 start after facing Ohtani and Anderson and Sandoval and also The Guardians like worst pitcher. You can't make hard opinions after 4 games, you guys. That's all that I want to say. You can't make hard opinions right now. I mean, sure you can. It's just not wise. Also, fun fact, I looked it up. The 2012 Oakland A's started, can you guess? 1-3. That was the most fun season that I think any of us will ever experience. They didn't win the World Series, but that was a pretty cool year. Started 1-3. Think everybody was thrown in the towel after 4 games? Actually, they'd been losing a lot, so kind of. I thought that they might be okay, though, with the new wild card rule that year, and it ended up screwing them over at the end of the season. But, oh well. I thought that they would do okay. I didn't know that they'd win the division, but they did, so everything was great. Also, here's some other teams' records that I thought were interesting. Philadelphia Phillies. They were in the World Series last year. Have not won a game. They're 0-4. They got obliterated by the Texas Rangers, which, I mean, we are familiar with that as A's fans. The Texas Rangers are gods of baseball. They seem to play like it against the Phillies and the A's. Other teams, not so much. I believe they lost on Monday and were shut out as well. Toronto Blue Jays, 1-3. Are the A's and Blue Jays the same team? According to the record after 4 games, yes, they are. Yes, they are. But they're not. The Blue Jays are a much better team. Much better team. Seattle, again, 1-4. They're in last place in the AL West. That could change. That could change very soon. But for right now, they suck. They suck real bad. The A's run differential is not great, and that is what is kind of the separator right here. So you can point to run differential and be like, oh, well, the A's, they're a bad team because of their run differential and their record. Maybe. But there are some other teams that have worse run differentials, and you would think that they wouldn't this early in the season. The A's have a negative 18 run differential. That's not great. I'm not going to lie. That's not great. But the Phillies, again, they have 2 amazing all-star level pitchers. They were fantastic. They are fantastic. In Wheeler and, and Zach Wheeler and Nola. I want to say Ryan Nola all the time now. Austin Nola. No, the other one. Nola and Wheeler. We're just going to call him Nola and Wheeler. Aaron Nola. There we go. Jesus Christ, Jason. Those 2 guys, they're really good. They have a negative 25 run differential because of the Rangers. The Rangers. Get out of here. The Miami Marlins. They have the reigning Cy Young winner in the National League. They have a negative 19 run differential. Just saying. Things happen in small sample sizes. Let's not overreact. Are the Marlins a good team? Probably not. Do they have lots of arms? Yes, they do. They still have been outscored by 19 runs this season. That's wild. The Reds, again, they face the Cubs and the Pirates. Not the stiffest of competition. The A's also get to face the Cubs and the Pirates this season. That'll be fun. I'm very much looking forward to facing the Central teams a little bit more. That's going to be a good time. I'm going to enjoy facing everybody all the time, all at once. But it's still early. That is my main takeaway. It is still very early. The A's are still trying to find themselves, find their identity, and they're showing us glimpses. They're a fighting team. They all gel fairly well together from what I've seen in 2 days in the clubhouse. They're not going to be making the playoffs. So let's not act like they're going to be making the playoffs and hang on all of the wins and losses. Let's look for those tiny, maybe not even tiny, those positive moments. That's what we should be looking for, is what are the A's doing and how could they be better tomorrow? How could they be better a week from now, a year from now? There's I should have put like a month in there too. It doesn't matter. But we got to look for those positive increments as opposed to being like, oh, they lost this game because they threw the ball away. The veterans did that. Not the young guys. The young guys look good. Just saying. Get excited about A's baseball, you guys. They're going to be okay at some point. And hopefully the young guys are, they're going to start showing us what they can do, get a little bit more playing time, and then maybe they take off. We're all excited about, the debut of Tyler Soderstrom and Zach Geloff and Mason Miller, and they're going to be young guys too. There's reason to not just throw the towel in on this team. Are they going to make the playoffs? Probably not. Probably not. Unless, a lot of things really go right for them and they don't trade guys away. But Could they be an exciting team, a fun team to watch? Sure. Does that mean that they're going to win? They're going to go 500? No. They can be fun to watch, though. And that's what I think that we need to pay more attention to. So that's all that I got for you guys today. I'll get off my soapbox for tomorrow. But yeah, I'm going to be at the game tonight talking. Try not to make anybody angry after last night's loss, because that was not fun. So we're gonna see who I can talk to and whatnot. Hopefully, I can talk to Ryan Noda about getting his first 2 big league hits, his first double as well, and just how he's adjusting to the big leagues. And then hopefully, I want to talk to Adam Oller, because he fascinates me for no reason. I don't know why, but I'm fascinated by Adam Oller, and I want to talk to him. So there you go. Those are the top 2 on my list right now. Also, quick update. Sam Moll, it didn't look like he threw a changeup last night, according to Baseball Savant. So I'll ask him, but I'm not expecting much yay or nay. Or maybe he just didn't throw any. Maybe the first game was wrong. So I could ask him that, I guess. Anyways, that's all that I got for you guys today. Tomorrow we're talking about Tuesday's game and just giving you guys some more insight. Maybe I'll have a number of the day. I want to do a number of the day segment. I just need to come up with a catchy title and then also numbers for each day. So there's that. But that's all that I got for you guys today. So until next time, go out and celebrate good times, A's fans, and I'll talk with you tomorrow.